Hey everyone, it's Heather. So for this video, I'm going to be sharing some really heavy details about my personal life. I decided that it was time to open up to you guys about what I've been struggling with over these past few months, along with my story of completely hitting rock bottom in your life and then rising back up and creating something new from that pile of ashes. I wanted to share why I felt the need to change my life so drastically. I want to talk about some key experiences that made me the person I am today. And I also wanted to say that nothing I say in this video is going to be good enough or satisfying enough for a lot of people out there. There's definitely going to be people who are going to absolutely drag me, who are going to use this against me. There is going to be, I'm sure, some consequences from making this video. But I feel like if I want to move forward in my life, I need to do it in the way I know how, and that is expressing myself through film. Even if it's just a crappy YouTube video of me sitting here in front of my sparkle wall. I need to express myself through this medium. I need to tell my story. I need to turn it into something that could help someone. And of course, I want to explain to you guys where I've been, why so much has changed, what I want to do from here on out. And I just feel like I can't just go forward as if nothing ever happened. I can't just start uploading happy videos without first giving you guys this insight into my life and into my experiences and my feelings and who I really am. Another thing I wanted to say before I get started is that you guys are going to be hearing a lot about what it's like to be a YouTuber, what it's like to have your name always dragged, and for people to say things about you that aren't true, and to paint you as a bad person when you're not. And I wanted to say, first of all, that I'm finally at a point in my life where I do not care anymore what anyone online thinks of me. I'm saving that energy for everything I want to do with my life and for the people in my life whose opinions really matter to me. I'm not saying that you guys don't matter, but whenever there's people sitting out there online day after day tearing me apart and putting me down, those are not people that I should be worrying about and trying so hard to please and change their minds about me. That's what I'm getting at. I no longer care if you like me or not. I no longer care if you approve or disapprove of what I'm doing. I do not need anyone's validation anymore. I know I'm a good person. I don't need you to determine that. I'm not going to worry anymore about these people because they are always going to be there trying to bring me down, trying to look for any little thing they can. And I know they're going to love every minute of this video. They're going to just come up with a whole novel about what an awful person Heather Sparkles is. And that's fine because Heather Sparkles is not real. I am not Heather Sparkles. I am Heather Michelle Steele, and I'm a human being and I really exist, and what you're seeing on this screen is just a small projection of me. It's another reality me. It doesn't exist. I right here am the real Heather, and this that you're seeing, it's a fantasy. It's just, it's a moment in time that's captured, but it's not the full picture. It doesn't come with all of the experiences and emotions attached. You're just seeing what you want to see from this video. This video is not going to be perfect. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a lot of different situations where I've come to terms with certain emotions of, and I'm not gonna go completely into full detail in all of them, and I might leave out a few things because it's just so much. So instead of sitting there feeling unsatisfied that I did not meet your standards of sharing all the details of my life, just take some time and be compassionate and just hear what I have to say and just accept that I'm a human being and I'm doing the best I can to tell my story. The aesthetic change. Because that's what a lot of people have noticed and have been giving me a hard time about. Because let's face it, on the internet, some people just love to be gatekeepers and they love to feel like they're special and they have this false sense of superiority and they're in this special club and no one else can join their club unless they do all these special things. And I've been dealing with gatekeepers giving me a hard time about my aesthetic and just people who don't get it and they don't understand my vision and they don't understand anything about me, and I'm not going to let those people hold me back. I'm not going to bend and change and try to fit into their tiny little box. I'm just gonna be me. Here's some pictures of me from whenever I was younger. And it's so funny how people are giving me a hard time about that whenever that's how I dressed a majority of my life into adulthood. And all the colorful kids type clothes, I didn't start wearing those until about 2016, I believe it was, or maybe 2015. So that's such a small period in my life, and people are just like so shocked and disappointed in some cases and using it against me to twist into, oh my gosh, look, she's having a mental break, or this is a sudden personality change, or she's such a fake, and all this other stuff, just because I reverted back to who I really am and what I really love. And the colorful stuff was the phase, the colorful stuff was the experiment, and this is who I've always been. And that's why I think it feels so good to wear black again, and why it feels so good to embrace all of my new hobbies, because it's my core interests. It's who I really am on a deep level. So that's what's up with that. So now let's jump into the content shift from toy videos, shopping videos, thrifting videos, to now I'm an explorer and I'm interested in the paranormal and oddities and all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to say that I still like vintage toy collecting, but I haven't actively added to my collection for quite some time. The reason for that is because I don't know at what point it was, but I started getting extremely overwhelmed with only being able to make content where I went thrifting. Back then, thrifting was literally the only thing I did for fun. Just going down the street to the thrift store and buying all this stuff and treasure hunting, that was literally all I had for fun. And I was bringing home all this junk to make videos on because that's what people wanted to see. And I was also pretty addicted to it at the time, and I was just ending up with so much clutter that it seemed like the more stuff I obtained, the more unhappy I became, and I just ended up with all this stuff, and I felt like I had no room for me, and all people cared about was seeing my stuff. Like I felt like I had no other value in the world, nothing else to offer other than being the caretaker of a collection and constantly buying stuff and showing it like, oh my God, look what I bought. That's what people wanted from me. And it affected my self-esteem. It made me stressed to have to live with so much clutter I had to sort out. And it was just a nightmare. I was not happy. I was not fulfilled with what I was doing. And whenever I first announced that I didn't want to do thrifting anymore, so many people were so disappointed and let down, and they let me know that. And that was very hard for me. The thought that I could lose everything I worked for just because I want to do something that makes me happy. That was hard. You know, do you choose between something you've worked so hard on or your own happiness? It's a very tricky thing to navigate. And that's what I was dealing with that. And then the divorce drama happened. And I do not want to go too deep into that in this video because there is so much. There's so much that I could say about my relationship, my marriage. I was so deeply unhappy, and it was a very toxic situation for me. And that's why I decided to leave. And then there was some crazy stuff that went down whenever I decided to leave. And I feel like that video will be made whenever everything finally settles. The whole divorce thing is going to be finalized in the near future, and we're both going to move on with our lives. And until that is finalized, I just want to let there be peace there, and I'll discuss that more at a later date. But basically, you guys saw the divorce drama because I felt like I was in such a crazy situation and everyone in my life had turned on me and I did not know what else to do. I was afraid, and I reached out to you guys, and that was the mistake I made, was making that so public, and I can't take any of that back. And I had to suffer the consequences of now thousands of people hate me and a lot of people are after me for that. And that was basically the end of my YouTube career, between changing up my content and sharing something that's so dirty so publicly. So I definitely learned a great deal from that experience. And it was really hard, but I wouldn't change what happened because I learned a lot and I grew and I'm a much better person because of it now. So that's that situation. So following the divorce drama, I dealt with a ton of betrayal. I dealt with people who wanted to get close to me just to get dirt on me for other people. And that was really hard for me because I realized then that I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't have friends. And so I started just drifting away. I couldn't really check my DMs anymore because I didn't know what people's intentions were for me, and because I was getting so much hate in my DMs. And I was just too afraid to get close to anyone because so many people did some shady stuff to me. And it was really hard to feel like, you have friends that are working for other people against you and people are trying to manipulate you to get close to you. That was very difficult for me. So I started to have to become extremely guarded. And it's so crazy. Speaking of, after that, the gossip sites started talking about me, and I knew that was going to happen eventually because I have been around the YouTube scene for 10 years now through various accounts, and I've watched influencers, and I know that everybody gets talked about or hated on, or there's some kind of controversy eventually. But I didn't think that I was anything special or interesting enough to talk about yet. And through me being so open, I started getting, dragged online and gossiped about. And that was a really dark period for me because every little thing I did or said, even positive things, people would try to find something in it to drag me down about. There were so many people talking about me people that I never even met, or I still to this day can't figure out who they are, who are just saying the worst kinds of things about me, who are just so personally offended by my existence and just so upset that I never gave them enough attention. People that have just said the worst kinds of things about me. And that's been really hard because I literally sit in my house and I'm a very solitary person and I don't bother anyone. So to have so many people after me was just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I still don't understand it. I don't get why these people hate me so much because It's one thing if maybe like you think I'm dramatic, or you don't like my voice, or you don't like my look or whatever, but I mean, there are some people that they're just so personally like out to get me because they just feel so hurt that I didn't give them enough attention. And I've tried to explain this to people that I can no longer really read comments, like unless I'm hanging out with someone and I have them open my DMs for me, or I have them read the comments, because I get just the worst comments, and it was really affecting my mental health. And I know there's going to be people like, oh my God, get over it, grow up. That's not the reality, all right? Whenever you have anxiety and you struggle on a daily basis with past traumas, it's really hard to have people say things about you that aren't true, or to constantly beat you down. And, you getting attention is not more important than my mental well-being. And it's just a lot. So I have people check the comments, and that's why like I had to go away for a while, because it just got to be so much. Like, I have a friend who I still absolutely love and adore, and basically her and I were involved in a situation, and she posted about it on her social media, and I posted a little bit about it too, but she posted pictures and stuff. And it did not take long for that website to get her pictures, because they knew she was my close friend. And they started dragging her on that website. And that was a really hard moment for me, because I struggle with feeling like I am such a burden to everyone. And it was so hard to know that my good friend was going to have to go through being harassed and posted about just because she knew me. That was whenever I just completely shut down, and like I didn't want friends. I didn't want to get close to anyone. I did not want to make videos anymore. And I no longer have the screenshot, but basically I was getting horrible comments, such as on this picture I posted of me on a rooftop, just smiling. It was after I had explored this amazing abandoned hotel, and it was one of the happiest days of my life. And I just wanted to post a picture of myself being happy to show you guys that I was okay. And one of the first comments I got, which got so many likes, was from someone saying that basically I need to go back to making toy videos, because that's what made me popular in the first place, that I don't care about my fans, that I think I'm high and mighty because I won't respond to comments, just going on about what a horrible person I was because, I changed, and they're saying how I changed for the worst because I lost all that weight and now I'm such a bad person. And it was just so ridiculous. And I explained to them, like, I don't read the comments for my mental health. It's just so much. Like, I can't do all this right now. And they were just going on and on about how horrible I was. And that was like another time where I was like, I'm done. Because for me, I'm not caught up in the world of gossip and hating people and just the little things that people complain about me. Like, I'm busy living and being creative and exploring and working on my photography and working on myself and trying to make friends, and I'm just not doing the type of things that they're doing. And it was just so overwhelming. I'm like, why am I wasting my time dealing with all these people on a daily basis who absolutely hate me? Like, what is the point? Why should I keep on doing this? Life's too damn short. Instead of sitting in front of a camera being called names every day and treated like I'm just this horrible person, like, I'd rather be outside. I'd rather be taking pictures, So I knew I needed a break, because it got to the point where I felt like I could not exist. It got to the point where, and this is what I talked about in the beginning, about how I can no longer give anyone my power, that anyone's opinions about me is none of my fucking business, and that I should not waste my time and energy reading what these people are saying and constantly trying to change my life to fit around, removing their negative ideas about me, because it was maddening. It was so maddening to want these people to like me and to want to change their minds about me and to deal with, oh, now they're talking about your cats, or now they're talking about what coffee you drank today, or now they're going on and on and on about all these little things in your life. I couldn't do it anymore. I felt like I could not exist. I felt like I wasn't allowed to exist, and all I was trying to do was to move forward from some very painful situations we're about to talk about. And I felt like there was no place for me, that all anybody wanted was Heather Sparkles and nobody wanted Heather Steele. Nobody liked me. I really got so depressed that I felt like nobody liked me. And I know people do, but it got to the point where it was just so powerful. It was really, the negativity was really so powerful that I felt like I cannot exist anymore, or that I couldn't do anything. Nothing I did was allowed, like the minute I got into exploring, they're shit talking that. The minute I did anything I tried to do to be happy and to put myself in a positive headspace and to do something positive with my life and time, that was just crapped all over. And it got to be really too much. And I had to walk away. It was hard to feel like I was that alone in the world. But looking back at it, I know I wasn't alone in the world, and I know so many of you guys love me and you understand me and you accept me. And that's why I wanted to talk to you today. That's really why I felt like I needed to talk to you guys. So I'm gonna have a sip of my iced coffee now, because that was a lot. And we're gonna have a sippy, and then we're gonna carry on. So this next one is really rough. Between this and the gossip sites, which now, I just wanted to be very clear, I don't give a damn what you have to say about me anymore. Carry on. If you're having fun, good. I'm glad I made you smile. I'm not gonna give my power away to these people anymore. I'm just gonna live my life. The fact is, if I want to be a YouTuber, if I want to pursue any kind of film work, these people are always going to be there, and they're always going to be trashing on me, and I cannot let it hold me back anymore. I cannot care what people have to say about me anymore, because I know the truth, and at the end of the day, there's some people that they're just always going to be miserable, and you can't let anyone bring you down. All right, so this is the main thing that has been hanging over me all of these months. So in December, I met someone. And this someone is extremely special to me. In fact, I would say that this someone was the most important person ever to enter my life. In fact, if I had not met this person, I would not be who I am today. This person entered my life to be my torchbearer. I was so lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't have the confidence I needed to pursue anything that interested me. And then this person appeared in my life, and they saw the potential in me. They encouraged me so much. They brought out of me what I was good at. They showed me what I was good at. They showed me what my gifts are. They gave me a perspective of myself, a good one. And they're always going to be the person that showed me my path. And they're never going to show me that light again. I'm never going to have their guidance again. I'm never going to have their love again. I'm never going to be able to sit and talk with him about any of the things I'm doing now that he inspired. So here is our story from my perspective. I guess you could say this is my story of my time with him. It's obviously not the full story because his perspective is missing. But I'm going to share what it was like to see him through my eyes. So in December, like I said, I met someone extremely special. We met online, and he was another YouTuber, and he's also a paranormal investigator. And what really drew me to him was that he had a picture of himself in a graveyard. And if you guys don't know me by now, graveyards are kind of my obsession, and kind of my main hobby right now is I go to graveyards and I document what's there and do photography of them. And I was so drawn to how handsome he was, and he said that he was an explorer, and I had just started to go down my explorer path a month prior, and he was like everything I had asked the universe for. Like, all I wanted to do was to go someplace interesting with someone interesting, and I couldn't believe it whenever I found his profile. And I was like, I have to talk to this person. So at first, we talked a bit. He told me later that he held back because I put on my profile, I was just looking for friends. But I can still remember the first night that we ever talked. So we stayed up until like 5 in the morning talking. And I can remember a part of our conversation was that he showed me a picture of himself in Gettysburg. And he was with this gravesite of this very famous, I think they were a famous criminal. And I saw on his hand, I was like, I noticed that you are wearing a silver ring. What is that? And he's like, oh, this is a skull that I got in blah, blah, blah. And this is this one special ring that me and all my friends have. And then I took the time to find my cat ring, who I call Luna. And I don't have her on right now, but I've had this ring since I was like 15. So I dug out my ring and I showed it to him. And it was so cool that I was able to have this conversation with someone about like the symbolism behind our rings. Because I remember him saying, oh, do you have a special ring that means something to you? And that's what I missed the most, was that he was so engaging with me in a way that no one has ever been in my life, and no one has ever been since. So after that, we had many middle of the night conversations where we talked about the paranormal, because he was a paranormal investigator, and I've always had paranormal experiences, and that was something that I had always wanted to get more into, but I never thought I really could. I never imagined that I'd be a ghost hunter like I am now. I never imagined that I can do this kind of stuff. And what I loved about him was that he showed me that anything I want to do is possible. He would tell me, why don't you call this one shop and ask if you can film in there? And I never thought to call. I never thought to ask anyone if I could film. And he encouraged me to do this stuff. He was so encouraging. And I can remember we were going to collab. And that was like one of the first big conversations we had, was about a collab idea we were going to have, because he's also a YouTuber. And that's another thing we bonded over, was our love of film and how fascinating photography and film are, and how they capture something forever. And we were going to collab, and he made a joke how he was going to get down on one knee and hold the camera and say, would you like to collab? And we were going to have someone take a picture. And we never did that, but it was so cute. So anyway, there were so many nights where we would just stay up till dawn talking. And I miss that so much. We would talk about all these different paranormal theories together. And I think my favorite thing in the whole world about him was his adventurous spirit. How he would tell me so many stories of the adventures of him and his friends. And that was when I knew that's what I wanted in my life, that I wanted adventure, I wanted to be an explorer, that I wanted to have all these crazy stories to tell. I knew that I couldn't keep living this boring life where all I had to share was, look what I bought at the thrift store. My life was so empty and unfulfilling. I knew that I wanted a life of adventure and love, and I wanted to really use my time on earth to figure out life's mysteries and to share that with people. And I wanted adventure with someone and with others, and I wanted to experience life. I didn't want to be stuck in my room with a bunch of objects. I really wanted more out of life, and it took me meeting him to really say, yeah, I can do this. This is what I want. On our first date, he picked me up and he had a cute pink gift bag on the seat. And he told me that was an early birthday present for me. In the bag was something that I have been wanting for a long time, and I have never worn it because it hurt too bad to do that. But basically, whenever I got into urban exploring, a lot of my favorite creators wore these skull bandanas. And I thought that was so cool. And I had told him, I was like, I need to get a skull bandana. Well, he surprised me with a black and pink skull bandana for an early birthday present whenever he picked me up. And it was on the seat in the car after he gave me a hug, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I can remember whenever he put it on me, and I realize now it's kind of like he passed this torch to me, like, you can do this, Heather. Here is something to start your journey. And I realize now, like, that was his role in my life, was to start my journey. So let's proceed, shall we? I know this is a lot, but I just want to get it all out there so I can move on. But first, more iced coffee. So, we went straight to Starbucks. And at the time, I had just started drinking Starbucks. And he introduced me to iced coffee. Well, first I got this peppermint mocha drink I was getting at the time, and then he had me try a sip of his iced coffee, and we sat down at the table together, and I pulled out my antiques. I had brought two of my favorite antiques with me because he said he really wanted to see them, because he too is not really a collector, but he's interested in objects that have a story behind them. So like someone held this and touched this like 100 years ago. It's really cool to him. So I got out one of my favorite antiques that has an awesome story behind it, and I remember how he looked at it so lovingly, and he loved it so much, and that made me so happy. And you know, we drank our coffee, and I tried iced coffee for the first time. Literally my first iced coffee was with him. And now I drink iced coffee every single day, a couple of them a day. I'm so addicted. So after that, we went to two of my favorite cemeteries, and it meant a lot to me to go to those locations with someone, because I had always felt like this big weirdo going to cemeteries, and suddenly there's this gorgeous guy with me who is so interesting, and he was checking out every little gravestone and holding my hand and like walking around with me, and it was so good. It was so good. So after that, we went to a haunted location at night. And I can remember I was so freaking terrified. I was shaking. I was just like freaking out. Like, we cannot be here. This is not okay. Like, we're not supposed to be here. Like, I'm so afraid of the spirits. And it was the best night of my life. And you know, I've done a lot of exploring since then, and I've been to all kinds of places, and I've done plenty of ghost hunting, and that's still like the best night of my life. I knew in that night that I fell in love with more than just him. I fell in love with the paranormal. I fell in love with exploring. I fell in love with old buildings, more so than I had already been. I knew, like, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to chase in my life. And it was all because I trusted him and I went for it, and he was my mentor. He was like my training wheels in this world. And that's why it's so hard that I lost him. So how did I lose him? Because I had some pretty toxic traits, and because I was dealing with a lot of trauma from the months prior, and I was not ready to be with someone as amazing as him. The person I am now, if only I was her back then. Because I have worked on my neediness. I have worked on all the things that made me chase him away. It's not that I'm a bad person. He never thought that. It was just I jumped in too deep, too quick, even though I thought that's what he wanted, and he realized that, like, he kind of led me to that point, and he's like, well, this is too much, you know. So I've worked on that, and I've changed a lot, and I think one of the hardest things about losing someone so special is that, you know, things could have been so different, and knowing that no matter how much you improve yourself, they will never talk to you again. And losing your hero, your mentor, that's really tough. And so I've just been living with all this self-hatred and shame, and I have felt very shunned because I lost not only him, but I lost his friends too. Whenever we were together, whenever I finally got to meet his friends, I was so happy. I loved and adored all of them. I thought they were just amazing people, and I was a big fan of their work on YouTube. And so whenever, you know, he broke up with me and ghosted me, they all blocked me too. And it was really hard to lose not just him, but like a place I finally felt like I belonged and really cool people that I thought I was gonna be friends with, because I was like, oh my god, I finally made friends and they're all so cool. So it's just a really hard situation that I have been processing over many months. I never really got closure. After he ghosted me, which was 100% my fault, I had the option to still be his friend, and I blew it because of the toxic traits I had at the time that I have worked on and completely obliterated from my life. After that, I did get a message from him where he basically told me I was a really good person and I had a bright future. And, you know, he told me that he was not worth killing a moment of my passion. He was not worth a moment of me being sad. And it's been hard because for me, like, he's a big loss and he's worth it, but I realize now that if I let that experience haunt me forever, if I let him be my ghost forever that haunts me, I will never get anywhere in my life. I will never be happy again. I have to move forward somehow, and I know how I'm going to do that. I fell in love with more than just him that night. I fell in love with my calling in life. And I realize now, like, after that relationship, I tried to find love again so hard, and I couldn't find anyone I loved like him, and I couldn't find anyone that spoke to my soul like he did. And I realize now that it's not healthy to try to find love after you've lost it. It's not healthy to seek out a relationship when you're going through so much in your life. I have no desire to be in a relationship with anybody anytime soon, because I know I need to heal from that loss and from the period of time I went through of all my self reflection after that. I need to heal. And what I need to focus on right now is myself. And I need to focus on my creative projects and my paranormal studies. And I need to focus on everything I want to do. And if I keep living in the past, I'm never going to move forward, and I'm never going to be able to make something of myself. It really sucks to know that my mentor absolutely hates me, and he will never say another word to me again. It's hard to know that the person that encouraged me so much, I can never say, look, I did it. I did what you believed I could. Look at these pictures from my adventures. I want to tell you all the stories I have now. I'll never be able to do that. And I have to be okay with that. And I have to move forward, or I'm always going to be sad. I'm always going to be hating myself and like, oh my gosh, Heather, I can't believe you blew it. I don't want to live there anymore. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to be creating something. And I can't spend any more energy feeling bad that this person hates me so much. I have to be in love with my hobbies. I can't worry about like, oh my gosh, I'm so lonely. I wish I had friends. I wish I had a boyfriend. I can't do that right now. It's not the time for that. And I feel like that's what the universe tried to warn me of whenever I entered that relationship. I just have such regret. So since then, I've grown a lot. I'm a lot braver now. I have started to establish myself in the things I want to do. I started becoming more bold, and I've started to go for the things I want. And that person I was in January, that's when I died. And maybe that sounds dramatic, but literally everything I was, the mask I wore for all those years, the Heather Sparkles persona died in January whenever he left me. And I'm glad she did, because it peeled back who I really am. And I learned a lot, and I grew, and now I'm ready to take on anything I wanted to do. So that's why it was hard to deal with the gossip sites, to deal with everybody online. Just so, not everybody, but like a group of people. Dealing with people online, it was just so hard, because all I wanted to do was move forward from that breakup, from that loss, from mourning the loss of that person that I cherished so much, that I was so close to. It was really hard to feel like everything I did to try to move past that was just picked apart, you know. It was just a lot. So I feel like silly that this situation still bothers me. You know, it's weird, because you would think time would make it better, but time actually makes it harder. There's this quote, there is an ocean of silence between us, and I'm drowning in it. And that pretty much describes how I feel. But I have to respect, like, if someone doesn't want to be with you, or if they feel like they can no longer talk to you, you have to respect that, because that's their right and their decision. And he made his decision for his reasons. And all I can hope is that there will be a day, maybe years from now, where we reconnect and we could be friends. I'm not going to go on more about him, because I've talked about him quite a bit, but basically through meeting him, he was basically the lantern bearer in my life. He guided me to my path, and then he faded away. And that's it. That's the purpose he served in my life, was to show me who I am, what I'm good at, to instill confidence in me to do what I want to do. And it's all thanks to him that I'm the person I am now, that I've gotten rid of my toxic traits, that I've worked on myself, and that I've found my path. So as you can imagine, it was really difficult to lose my mentor and then to start going down that path and trying to figure it all out, and like, I don't even know where to begin, you know, and I'm gonna find my place. I will. It'll happen for me. So anyway, that's enough about him. Now you guys know the big thing that I was depressed over for months. And that's that. So moving on, I am ready to do this again. Let's get more coffee. That was heavy. Let's have some coffee out of this cute cup. Here I am in my Victorian type, it's not Victorian, but you know what I mean. I'm in my Killstar, and I'm drinking from a cute cup. So where do we go from here? Why would I want to come back online and deal with people every day who don't understand me, who gossip about me, who just are so negative? Because I miss it. In the time period that I've been away, I realized that I love expressing myself through this medium. I love making videos. I love whenever people reach out to me and tell me that my video has had a positive impact on their lives. I feel like I have a very unique insight on life. I have a unique perspective, and I want to kind of share that and give people a different way of viewing the world. I just miss it, and I don't know how to make this channel work now that I am an explorer, but I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a way to make it all work. For now, the Explore channel will be separate, and I have a ton of ideas for that one. You guys haven't seen anything yet. I've been planning in my head what the channel is going to be. It is going to be a travel channel. We're going to do some paranormal travel along with abandoned stuff, interesting roadside finds, just interesting things that I can make like 5-10 minute videos on at times. I have so many ideas, and I have learned so much over these past couple months compared to whenever I made the video of me running out of the nursing home having a panic attack. That's so embarrassing. I don't do that anymore. I'm a lot braver now, kind of. So I have ideas for that channel, and I'm really excited about the new direction. I'm happy I don't have to make videos of myself buying junk anymore. I'm going to find something I can do with this channel as well that is a way for me to express myself, and it's doing more than pushing consumerism. So I'll figure it all out, and I'm ready to deal with people talking crap, and I'm not going to let it bother me anymore. I'm really not. I know there's going to be a lot of things that people are going to have to say about this video. I know it's going to hurt my reputation further, but I hope you guys can appreciate my honesty and the fact that I am just a human being, and that maybe you shouldn't judge so hard because you don't know someone's life and you haven't seen it and you weren't there. At the end of the day, I'm just a person on the internet. You don't know me, I don't know you, so maybe you can kind of reflect on why you judge some people so harshly. So yeah, that's it. That's where I've been. That's what I've been struggling with. There are so many things that I had talked about in my head earlier. So many things I had come to terms with, or ways I wanted to speak about different issues. And this is how it came out, and I think this is okay because this is very organic. I just sat and poured my heart, and was it perfect? No. I'm probably going to be thinking of something at 3 a.m. or while I'm editing that I could have said or should have said, or that I forgot to say, but it is what it is. The rest will just come out in my new videos because I'm far from done. And I want to encourage you guys that if you're living a life you're really unhappy in, no matter what anybody says, whether you have support or not, it is okay to change it. That's another thing. So, one mini rant while we end this hour-long video. So the other day, I received a comment on my Explorer account where basically someone had said to me about my emo midlife crisis phase. You know, it's so interesting how, like, if you're goth or any other, like, fashion subculture, like, there's all these strict rules, and in order to have the label on you, you have to follow all these things. But you can just be labeled as emo as like it's an insult, even if you don't really listen to emo bands and you don't wear scene clothes and all of that. It's just so interesting to me, but that's just me. As far as my midlife crisis, this person is 18. And here's the thing, honey. What you don't realize yet is that your 20s might be very difficult. In your 20s, you're gonna really find yourself, and by the time you're 29 or 30, you're gonna be a totally different person, and you're gonna discover what makes you happy, what doesn't, what you wanna do and be. And I wish you the best of luck. And also, there's nothing wrong with having like a midlife crisis or going through different phases or discovering yourself. I feel like that is what life is all about. Like, if you're at a point in your life where you're not happy, there's nothing wrong with trying other things, changing it up. I think that's a very important thing. Nothing in your life should ever be set in stone. If you're unhappy, you have every right to change it. And I don't see a problem with that at all. And I hope that someday you'll understand, because it's so important to be empathetic, to try to put yourself in other people's shoes. Even if you haven't experienced what they're going through, you really need to try, because the world needs more empathy and the world needs a little dose of compassion, because on social media, all we do is tear each other down, which is a reason why I didn't want to do this anymore, because I'm not about tearing other people down. It's one thing to give constructive criticism when someone asks for it, but whenever like I see a picture online of someone, I'm not thinking about, ooh, look at this about them or look at that about them. I'm thinking, wow, this is a cool picture. I like their hair. I like this. I always see the good in people, because the world is harsh enough and life is terrible. And I just feel like you should take a moment each day to be kind to someone. And on social media, we're in this culture where all we do is tear people down, we fight with people, we do things we'd never do in real life. Because I tell you what, only ever once have I dealt with anyone being negative to me in public about my appearance. Everywhere I go, so many people run up to me and say, I love your hair, I love your look, oh my gosh, you're so cute. And I talk to people and they leave smiling. No one in real life ever gives me a hard time like people do online. And I'm like, why is this? And I think it's because online, people want to take out their frustrations about their lives. We're all hurting, and I feel like some people just take it out on others to take out the stress of their day, or maybe they feel powerless in their life, but the minute they go online, ooh, I can be a gatekeeper. Ooh, I can make this person feel bad because I feel bad. You know what I mean? And I think it's important that so many of us self-reflect on if we do that to people and why. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I am far from freaking perfect, as you've seen. I have worked on my toxic traits, and I think that it's time that we all reflect on things that we've done wrong and how we can do better. And that being said, it's nobody's place out there to tell me if I'm wrong or not, because even if you saw the divorce drama go down, you weren't living my life. There's a lot of things that were never put out there. Like, there's just so much. Anyway, though, just think before you judge, and you don't need to be mean to people. You really don't. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I think that this is where we should end it. I've been filming for over an hour now. I've said a lot. I don't know what consequences are going to come from this video, but I had to make it to move forward with this channel. I wanted you guys to see my human side. I wanted you guys to see who I really am. I feel like a lot of people think I'm just a spoiled brat and I'm entitled and all this other BS that's not even close to true about me, just because I'm trapped in this channel theme that's all about like consumerism and products, and it's just, I hate it. I hate it. I really do. I like making hauls about like my Killstar clothes because I'm obsessed, but I don't know. I just feel like there's so much more to life than things. There really is. There's a whole big adventure out there. There's so much more to life than gossip. You could be doing so much better things with your time. And I don't want you guys to look back with all these regrets, you know. But I feel like a lot of people that are trapped in that cycle, it's because they're just stuck in life. And they just end up spending all their free time on the internet. Because that's what I did. So anyway, it's going to be an interesting year here on the channel. I'm ready to come back. How I do that, I don't know, but I'm just going to start uploading again, filming each day. And now that I don't give a damn what people think about me anymore, I think I can do this. I'm ready to do this. I'm healed. I'm recharged. I have new ideas. I have 2 channels I'm working on now. And I have other cool opportunities in my life. And, you know, for the first time since January, I feel like things are going to be okay. And that I can move past what happened. And I have a bright future. And everything happened as it was supposed to. And we're all on the path that we're supposed to be on. That being said, you can change the course a little bit, but whatever happened to you, even if it's something really horrible, unfortunately it was supposed to happen. And that's your story. And what you do with that pain is up to you. But I hope that you can turn your pain into something that can help others, because I feel like that's how I manage my pain. And that's what people have asked me, like, how do you deal with this stuff? And what I do is I take every bad situation I've been in and I turn it into something that can help someone else, or I find meaning in it, and that's how I survive. That's not for everyone. That's just me. I want you guys to know that I have full empathy that what you've gone through is horrible and really tough. But I want you guys to know that you can get through it. You can get through anything. I promise. There have been times where I'm like, how am I going to carry on? How am I going to go forward? I really felt the past couple months that my life was over. And not just because of that guy. Because I was rebuilding a whole new life. Like, I was leaving a marriage. I'm moving away. Like, I'm starting over from scratch. I don't really have friends anymore because of the situation. I'm not close to my family. It's just me and my cat. And I'm slowly like rebuilding friendships and, you know, starting a whole new life. And I know now that this is the beginning, it's not the end. And we're going to have an awesome new beginning together. All right, guys, I love you all. Please take care of yourselves. Please be positive, and please be nicer to people. Because a little bit of kindness creates a ripple effect. There's no need to ever belittle someone or put them down when they get something wrong. If I'm ever wrong, just kindly educate me. If someone in the comments is ever wrong, kindly educate them. There's no need to insult them and call them stupid and all this other stuff. It's just not necessary. Please be kind. All right, guys. This is going to be an interesting one to follow. I wonder what the reaction from this one's going to be, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the reaction is. I had to let this go. And the only way I know to let go of stuff is just to make a video on it. So I did. And all I can do is move forward, and I'm going to. I'm going to let them go. I'm going to let these past couple months go. They had a purpose in my life. I'm so strong now. And I'm so driven. And I have so many goals and dreams. And I'm pursuing opportunities. And I have new ideas. And I'm so happy with who I've become. And that's what all this was about. It was all a test. It was all to shape me. And here I am. I'm even weirder than before. And I love every minute of who I am now. Bye, guys.